Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day out there. Liam Murphy back to rip some more big board drafts on Underdog Fantasy in search for that $200,000 top prize. The contest is 70% filled, so I'm going to be entering several. We're going to, again, do a casual 3 just so that I can get some volume in here. So if you want to draft with me, now's the time to jump in. Let's draft. All right, welcome. Let me share my screen here. Gonna be ripping again 3 big board drafts here. Let me get them all pulled up on my screen. This first one needs 2 more people. If you are watching and you would like to draft with me, the other ones are wide open, so feel free to join in there. As always, if you'd like to support my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. The link to join my Discord is in the YouTube description below. All right, we're about to get this first one filled here. Might look at some mock drafts. What's up, Kev? Hit the like button. Good morning, Bindles. Going to be going on with Bindles today at 9 o'clock on his channel. I said Friday earlier, but my friend's in town for a comedy show, so we had to move that. Pulled the 102 for this first one. Video circling the internet of Najee Harris with the best shape of his life. Now, usually this is something we make fun of, right? However, I would say for certain running backs, I care a little bit about this, 1%, 2%. The reason being is A, what Najee has been lacking is explosion, right? And 2, his rookie year contract is ending. And remember the year where Josh Jacobs 2 years ago was real cheap in drafts and just exploded? Well, that was partially because he was motivated being his last year. Yeah, I mean, almost certainly they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option there. CMC goes. Let's get a CD Lamb pick in here. I went Tyreek yesterday when I pulled the 102 to spot the mix for me. But yeah, when you are on the last year of your contract, you're 26 years old, your NFL, career has been middling at best, you might be motivated to drop some weight, try to get more explosive, not look as slow compared to Jaylen Warren. This doesn't make me dislike Jaylen Warren anymore. I love Jaylen Warren. Cordell Patterson also signed with the Steelers. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a death knell for Najee and Jaylen. I mean, come on. CPAT, maybe he'll play as much as Calvin Austin did the year before. They did change the kickoff rules. I'm not going to get into that, but that could be motivating for the CPAT signing. Of course, Arthur Smith is a Steeler. We haven't entered best shape of players' life season yet, Carlos says. I mean, everything in the NFL is just getting souped up, We used to not have drafts this time of year. Now we do. So everything's moved up a couple months. Let me zoom in here for you guys. Should do over the board while drafting. We need some chest back. You know, I would say, Ant, you're probably in the minority there. I'm going to launch that chess channel. That is a promise, though. I've been doing a lot of chess. And when the NFL season starts, so September, and there's no more best ball, I think that's a sweet spot for me to do a lot of chess content. But I'm gonna launch the channel, review some games, teach some lessons there because it's a passion of mine. But yeah, I think I'm gonna mostly keep chess away from this channel. It's just confusing. So we go CD Lamb, a who's who, pretty normal start here. I do need 8 and 11 people for these next 2 drafts. I'm trying to get some food after this, so help me fill these bad boys. I I doubt I'm gonna max this just because I don't see myself grinding that hard. I'm at 14, 70% filled. Maybe I'll get in like 50 to 75. If I get real motivated towards the end, maybe more. Of course, this is a big board draft on Underdog Fantasy for 200K. If you are confused what this is, you can use promo code ChessLiam to get up and running on Underdog. And as I said, we are on the road to 5K. Less than 1,500 people until we're there. Quite a milestone. Help me achieve that by clicking the subscribe button, please. Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot of these players, like standard deviation is pretty wide, except for the first, at least the first 10 is almost always the same players. Puka plus. So Puka, AJ Brown, Brees, Amon-Ra. Almost always these guys go in the top 10. Around 11 and 12, 13, 14, that's usually the same cast too. And then it kind of widens out where like sometimes you'll see an H-hand go at the turn. I'm on the clock, so we'll come back to that. Let's go Steph Diggs. It's possible with Curtis Samuel signing in Buffalo, Khalil Shakir another year developed, Dalton Kincaid another year developed. The Bills view their pass catching corps as set, which would be a huge boost for Diggs, right? I like Curtis Samuel. I like Kincaid. I like Shakir, but should be a real target dominant thing for him. Um, yeah, DJ Moore is just not my favorite player to take at such a high pick. He is solid, right? He's gonna have a lot more target competition this year. I'm gonna go Ayuk. Just love the talent of Ayuk, ability. If he gets traded to the Jags, I think that's a boost as well. Don't need that to happen, but possible. Leverages off of CMC if he's still a 49er. And I'm taking Lamb, so we're competing with CMC here. I put a second draft filled, pulled the 106. I put a poll out about Rome Adunze. Just pull that up. I said, assume Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are off the board by pick 6. So that would have the Cardinal. That means some combination of the Cardinals trade with the Vikings. Let's pretend McCarthy goes at 4. The Chargers take Marvin Harrison Jr. The Giants take Neighbors, and then we're at pick 7. And so, who will draft Rome Odunze? I said, and I think the most likely teams, right, like the Titans, Titans are possible, but not that likely. I think the Titans are pretty likely to take a tackle if the value's there, having invested in their offense, needing no line help. But then the Falcons are definitely a possibility. When you have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, good quarterback, but you need weapons to be special. So adding Rome puts Mooney as the wide receiver 3, keeps London, Pitts, them all there. We're going to take Justin Jefferson today. So that would be fun for the Falcons. I think the Falcons are probably likely to go pass rusher here, though, if the talent is there. They just kind of need some help there their defense is solid in coverage, but they just couldn't rush the passer. And then I think the Bears, Jets, and these two teams I think would both love to draft Rome. The Bears because you just traded for Keenan Allen, but he's old, right? So he's not part of the future. You got DJ Moore. You're getting your Caleb Williams at the 1-on-1 here. So adding Rome to grow with Caleb, give him a weapon, hit O-line the rest of the draft. The Bears roster does not have a ton of holes. O-line, pass catcher. So getting Rome for the Bears at 9, I think would be great for them. If they could go tackle, but if I'm the Bears, this is like the Jamar Chase question, right? Would you rather go Jamar Chase or Penny Sewell? You go Jamar, you find out O-line later. And they upgraded the O-line a little bit. They made some moves, but you hit O-line in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. Boom. Hope one of those guys works it out. So the Bears, I think, are pretty likely to draft Rome, and he was the favorite in the poll at the moment at 40%. The Jets, I think, would like to draft Rome as well, just giving Rodgers a weapon. They upgraded the O-line in free agency. Their defense is obviously solid. And then the other possibility is a team trades up. There are Bills fans that would like the Bills to trade up with the Falcons. The Bears could trade down, accumulate picks. Teams that could trade up. Well, let's just do teams from this list. Obviously, teams like the Bills would like to, but the Jaguars, I could definitely see the Jaguars making a move. That's not too far back. Vikings maybe. Broncos, kind of like quarterback list right now. Colts wide receiver core is pretty iffy. Seahawks, no. So I don't know. I think planning that Rome, and this is assuming that teams view Rome as like a top 10 pick, which it seems we're getting 4 more for this last draft, by the way. It seems that is the way it's moving. Enough people are talking about Rome as if he is in the mix to go. Like some people have him going ahead of Neighbors, which seemed pretty unlikely a bit ago. We got Jefferson here. Let's go Drake London. We're doing that Kirk Cousins connection here. Kirk Cousins old, number 1, and Kirk Cousins new number 1 in Drake. So a mini reach on Jalen Hurts here. Fine to do. He usually goes this part of the draft. Yeah, I really like going James Cook here because the next set of running backs are all kind of like older. I like Cook more than Pacheco and White too. But I think Buffalo's pretty likely to add a guy. Curtis Samuel, of course, is going to get some run there too. Of course, running back, wide receiver, a stack we like to make in best ball. And then we could go really any of these. these three players here. I'm gonna go Trey McBride this time. Just love me some McBride. The Cardinals could trade out of that pick, which would be a huge boost for McBride. I mean, McBride's already profiling to be pretty target dominant, is arguably in the mix for the tight end one. There is no reason that there should be a full 1, 2, 2-round gap between Laporta and McBride. Like, people have, that's just outrageous. This is the same reason why there should be no gap between Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen a second, while the rest of like the gang is like 4th and 5th. No logic there. I do like Amari Cooper there. I do like Rome as well, though. And Christian Kirk. Not George Pickens, I mean. George Pickens, George Pickens had that like big playoff week, but I'm still not a buyer of the Steelers. You could have Justin Fields quarterbacking as well. Let's go DK Metcalf today. Can't go wrong with these picks. Feel good about them all. Josh Jacobs really profiling as a major workhorse. I think he's a solid value in the 3rd round too. But we're going triple wideouts to start here. We also went triple wideouts, and then we got our running back one. We got an elite tight end over here. DK has like oscillated from like a 2nd round pick to a 3rd over the past couple of years. He was 1-2 turn at one point. Lockett, another year older. We're getting some serious. At the 106 here, let's go Bijan. Bijan's just a very comfortable click, right? Getting a running back with not many questions. If you're multi-tabling these on your desktop, little pros tip, at least for Windows or Google Chrome, you got to close out the dashboard to get the pick timers to click down. The draft board. I think I said dashboard. Yeah, there's some serious rumors that apparently the Commanders are now considering J.J. McCarthy at the 102. I don't believe that, but it does feel different from the Will Levis steam of the past. Like, the Will Levis in that type of steam, like, we got that steam like a couple weeks before the actual draft. Same with Malik Willis. Like, that was like pretty close to the draft. We got that random buzz on him. McCarthy's been like pretty steady. Now, part of that is because obviously he won a national championship, but also because his coach, Jim Harbaugh, is in the NFL and getting asked questions about him and talking about him. So, not the only reason why we're hearing about McCarthy earlier. Like, it's not just because he's a better prospect, which it does sound like he is. Initially, like, I was getting the vibe he was in like the Will Levis type of trajectory, but I don't know. Doesn't seem so. Which is great. Like, if you're the Chargers, you're the Cardinals, you don't need quarterback. You love to hear this. Let's go old man Kelsey this time. I full faded Kelsey last year. I mean, he's not retired. I personally would not, if I only had one draft, and the question was, do I want Kelsey or McBride? The answer is McBride for me. But with me doing quite a bit, I want exposure to all the elite tight ends. Let's go Saquon too. I mean, it's kind of insane to see Saquon up here at the mid-second after he was a third. But come on, Saquon, he's an Eagle now. Let's get that alpha running back start to balance out these beta wideout starts by us. Pick 71 here. Yeah, pretty mandatory George Kittle pairing there for me. Double elite tight end. So we got Kittle and Ayuk. So we're majorly leveraging off of CMC by taking other pieces of the Niners offense. Of course, if Ayuk gets traded, that's helpful as well. And I just don't, Kittle, spike week god at tight end position. I think Dak's fine. But we're going to go Ramondre today. Of course, could go Dak for the CD Lamb stack. Going to be super common. Some weird energy in Dallas right now, too. Maybe just some posturing for both sides, but yeah, let's get Zay Flowers here. Don't have a lot of Flowers, and he's several picks past ADP here. It's a great time to get a player like that. But yeah, some weird energy in Dallas with Dallas not committing at all to Dak long term. And Dak, I believe, had a domestic violence rumor or confirmed. I'm actually not sure there, but something like that happened. So I just refuse to speculate. I mean, like, it's fun to speculate on who takes Herbert if Harbaugh wants JJ. That would be insane to trade Justin Herbert. I think a big reason why you take the Chargers job, which, Harbaugh's been waiting for the right NFL job for him. I think he also wanted to get the national championship, but now he had the ability to wait. And you wait. He probably waited for this Chargers job to open up to coach Justin Herbert, right? He could have taken any team with a top pick. We need some wideouts here. I would say Mike Evans is like, he's like in the vein of a Saquon, where just safe early season production, obviously late season as well. It's a bit older, a bit seasoned, but so is Saquon. So stick to a theme there. But yeah, I don't see Harbaugh trading Herbert again. That's why I think he took the job. But I if I'm the Bears, I'm probably trading for Herbert. Any team would trade for Herbert that does not have like Burrow, Mahomes, Allen. Yeah, some crazy stuff in the news. Puff Daddy or whatever. A ship hit a bridge. A lot of people making up conspiracies there that don't understand engineering. Weird times. What's up, Chris? So far we got a Jefferson, London, Metcalf, Flowers, Travis Kelce start. And we got a James Cook, Ramondre, Lamb, Diggs, Ayuk, McBride, Kittle start. I like that one. We got Bijan, Saquon, Mike Evans start. Let's go Kittle again. Double elite tight end. Kelce and Kittle. The elite tight ends of old. I mean, like, Kittle versus a Pitts and Kincaid. Kittle's getting punished in the market for being a spike week guy. You know, a guy who is not a consistent week-to-week player, but that's kind of exactly what you want a tight end, so he shouldn't be being punished for that. This team pretty desperately needs wideout. So let's go Amari Cooper. Good old boring Amari. We'll take Purdy over here. There is some possibility the CMC drafter stacks him. I want to make it very clear. In no way do I think Purdy should be drafted ahead of Justin Herbert. He probably shouldn't be drafted ahead of like Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence so much, but his ADP is just aligning with the skill players somewhat of Ayuk and Kittle. So, got to get those stacks. Need a running back here. Tony Pollard seems fine. Over here. I think I'll go Mike Williams. I'm not sure what the market's going to do with Mike. It might depend. Like, if the Jets draft Rome, I can see Mike falling a bit. But it's sounding like he should be ready for week 1. So, hope everyone get out their guppy. We got a fish take here. Kincaid isn't a top 100 player. Should be with Goddard. Totally different situations in my mind. Like last year, I was fully out on Goddard. Just viewing him as the clear 3 in the offense with Hurts there. So there is some relationship where you got Josh Allen, you got Hurts. Both quarterbacks steal touchdowns. However, in Buffalo, there is no clear 2 right now. There is no Devonta Smith aside A.J. Brown, right? It is Diggs, and then maybe like Kincaid could be the 2. Not to mention he was a first-round pick who didn't take 3 to 4 years to become the guy behind Zach Ertz. His rookie season, he was the guy. So I think that's a bad take, but you're free to have him. Here, let's go Anthony Richardson. One of my highest drafted quarterbacks of the past. I'm kind of surprised the market has made him a 5th-round pick off of like a 3-game sample. I mean, he balled out those 3 games, but I guess I'm just surprised. Like, did people not foresee this guy running the football? And now they're like, sure, whatever. He didn't play all season, but we see it now. Like, why is Anthony Richardson the 5th? And then Jaden Daniels, who we're pretty sure is going to do Anthony Richardson things, is like a 10th. And Jaden Daniels might not work as a real quarterback. There has been some worrying sack numbers on him and whatnot. I'm always a DeAndre Swift guy. Pollard and Swift, the bounce backs. This is a way of thinking that will not. It's not the best for best ball tournaments, right? Terrence here saying Daniels was more successful in college. Why not get the cheaper version of Richardson? Which to me, he's asking like, why draft Richardson in the 5th when you can get Daniels in the 10th, right? And I mean, we're a little worried about Daniels' landing spot, but like I'm very in on Daniels as the fantasy prospect. However, it's not like a either or, right? It's not. It's like why draft? You know, why draft CeeDee Lamb when you can get Brandon Ayuk? You need multiple players, and if Richardson goes off for, hold on here, let me get some picks in. Let's go Brooks over here. Oh God, run the clock everywhere. Let's go old man Mostert for this one. I'm going Kittle again. And we're gonna go Lad McConkey, player I quite like. But yeah, if Richardson scores 35 points week 17, right? You probably just need him or someone that scores like him to win the contest, right? So I think you may be speaking to there is a lot of value at quarterback in these later rounds, and I don't disagree with that. But doesn't mean I'm not going to take some of the more expensive elites. Because were you unhappy drafting Lamar last year when he dropped 40 points week 17 because you could have gotten Brock Purdy in the 17th round? No. So we got a triple Kittle here. We got a Kelsey Kittle. We got a McBride Kittle. And just a Kittle. Okay, fine, Terrence. Why draft Lamar when you could have drafted Justin Fields a couple rounds later, right? I don't think you're understanding the point I'm trying to illustrate. You simply need to have some players, some iterations of the year. So if you're always going to not draft a player because you think a similar archetype of a player is cheaper, I don't think that's the best like game theory way to play best ball. Don't get me wrong, you don't want to be drafting players who you think are bad values at a large clip, but this is my first share of Anthony Richardson, right? So it's just the wrong way of thinking when you vault. Like this is not a thing you do once, right? You should not think about these drafts like, oh, every single time I go Anthony Richardson there. It's my first share in 15 drafts. Do I want zero Anthony Richardson? The answer is no, I don't. Pretty flat tier here. We need wideout, but Evan Ingram looking like there was a lot of hate for Ingram last year. I was not one of those haters Could be in for a target dominant season. And we're going to stop at 2 tight ends over here too. So stopping at 2 tight ends on all of these teams. We got a Kittle Ingram, Kelsey Kittle, and McBride Kittle. You know, unless something wows us. Okay. We'll go Jonathan Brooks here. We could kind of afford the slower start with the Pollard, Swift, Mostert start. Thoughts on JSN at cost? Man, I don't know. I've yet to draft him. He seems like he's just kind of like sandwiched in there. Like that whole tier after Hopkins are not comfortable. Like it seems like a significant tier drop. Going from like Hopkins, who could have like 180 points or more this season, down to the JSNs, where like if JSN averages 10 half-point PPR points, you're thrilled, right? So tough. Shout out Bindles, a YouTube member. If you want to join, click the join button. Had some of you message me to get you added. If you're a YouTube member, you get access to the premium Discord. Just message me on Discord. I'm not the best at checking my messages, but I added some of you manually. Tieran says he likes Mike Williams over JSN, who is cheaper by like 2 rounds. And yeah, I think I'm there myself. Just throw Jaleel in there. We almost just need to force a wideout here. We'll go Big Mike again. Jaleel, a fun, explosive option. I'm going to go Rodgers here for the stack with Big Mike. So someone went naked Kirk. I was going to go Kirk here. Oh, but the guy next to me. Oh, he went with Bijan. Which is fine because we can get Jaden Daniels, which is arguably the better fantasy option from like a ceiling. Could go T-Law too, but we're going to go just the naked Daniels here. Yeah, and I mean, I'm happy with how I played that because Brooks just feels like a bit of a like I could have grabbed Kirk for the Jefferson stack or for the London stack. Having Daniels seems fine. Not impossible. Daniels is a Viking too. Someone's saying they're not into Aaron Rodgers. That was my first share of Aaron Rodgers too, but quarterback gets pretty ugly quick. So happy I did take him. I mean, hey, he played like 4 seconds, but he looked good in those 4 seconds last year. And he should have some weeks with the Jets. Jets could be good. So we have a Brock, Rogers, Cook, Ramondre, Brooks, Jaleel McLaughlin team with Lamb, Diggs, Ayuk, Mike Williams, Ladd, McConkey, McBride, and Kittle. So we have a Jaden Daniels, Pollard, Swift, Mostert, Brooks team with Jefferson, London, Metcalf, Zay Flowers, Kelsey, Kittle. And now we have a Richardson, Bijan, Saquon, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, Kittle, and Evan Ingram. Mitch, you're talking to the guy who had like 40% Darius Slayton last year. So Darius Slayton is the end of draft demon I'll need. I feel it deep down. Yeah, he really should not be a 20th round pick. He's very unlikely to be the one again. But we're going to go Worthy. I'm kind of just sensing Worthy to the Bills. Wouldn't that be fun, right? Like, he's the, like Curtis Samuel's ahead of him from playing time, but you get Worthy in the mix there, different skill set. I like some of the running backs there, but I should probably be forcing a wide receiver there with my wide receiver room being what it is. I don't really feel forced to go any direction here. But we're going to go Zach Charbonnet. A little Rico over here. Add to that Dallas stack. So Rico's contract. He's still a free agent, right? I mean, it could feel silly taking a guy like Douglas over Adam Thielen after what he did, but we're going to take Douglas and add to the AFC stack here, where we have Rodgers, we have Cook, Ramondre, Diggs, Mike, Douglas. So if the Jets play the Pats or the Bills week 17, we got some stacks there. Let's go T-Law. Got the Trevor to Ingram stack. We got Richardson there. I was tempted to pass and just hope to take Daniels the next round, but Could get squeezed at quarterback, and I like stopping with 2. Let's go Josh Palmer for now. Definitely going 3 QB for this team. Most likely going 3 QB for the Purdy Rogers team. And maybe stopping at 2 with the Richardson team, but could add a 3rd. I don't get the appeal of Douglas. His scoring was pedestrian last year, and analytic profile isn't remarkable. Yeah, for me, it's just he's like a poor man's Jacoby Myers, where I'm expecting him to not lose the slot job. You know, that team's got a lot of holes to fill. They could have a quarterback upgrade. And he got no touchdowns last year on 80 targets, you know. So let's bump this up to, he didn't play the full season starting. So let's bump this up to like 100 targets, 750 yards, 3 to 4 touchdowns. Those happen the right weeks, you're profiting. Could he lose his job? Of course he could lose his job, right? He was a undrafted free agent last year who is not that special. But right as time be at the time being, he seems like he's a safer pick in that range for volume, which is not something I could say about all of these guys, you know? And again, he adds to the division stack we're going for. Rico did resign with the Cowboys. What makes you think he'd be a red zone target? Well, when you get 100 targets, you're going to get touchdowns whether you're a huge red zone target or not. And also, when you play in the slot, usually you get open, right? He's not a big body, but can't all be fades to Hunter Henry. I said 3 to 4 touchdowns, by the way. This is not like a high bar. I mean, almost have to take Gabe Davis here. With us having Trevor, Davis and Ingram adding to the Jag stack. Need wide receivers anyways. The only way Douglas is like a terrible pick in fantasy is if he flat out loses his job. Like he's no longer in the mix to start. Let's go Will Levis. We just need a quarterback we're feeling is starting most of the year. You know, obviously like Fields ceiling better. But with him maybe being a second half player, seems that a little thin. And we do have Tony Pollard. So we do have a thin stack there. Of course, you could always add Traylon Burks late. Kind of missed the boat on a third quarterback for this team. Let's go Ray Davis. McCarthy used to be like a free pick in the 20th round. And it seems like he's steamed up to the 15th. Um, let's go Zay Jones. He's got some legal troubles, it sounds like, but gonna take Fields. You know, he's basically the Trey Lance pick of the past. But even less so because we've seen it before. You know, there's no question on the talent. It's just what will the playing time be? Good time to get a running back in the mix here. Jalen Wright is the speedster. And we're going Jerome Ford, though. I don't know. I got to kind of see the landing spot for Wright and the draft capital to throw him ahead of the maybe Browns RB1. So we got a Richardson, Lawrence, Bijan, Saquon, Jerome Ford, Mike Evans, Mark Cooper, Mike Williams, Xavier Worthy, Gabe Davis, George Kittle, Evan Ingram start. Jaden Daniels, Will Levis, Justin Fields, Tony Pollard, Swift, Mostert, Brooks, Charbonnet, Jefferson, London, Metcalf, Flowers, Palmer, Kelsey Kittle, and a Purdy, Rogers, Cook, Ramondre Brooks, McLaughlin, Dowdle, Ray Davis, Lamb, Diggs, Ayuk, Mike Williams, Ladd McConkey, Douglas, Zay Jones, McBride Kittle. 3 more picks over on this one. 5 for this one. And 7 over here, I think. Yeah, 7. I'm doing 4 quarterback for this one. Daniels, Will Levis, Fields, McCarthy. Obviously, hoping for McCarthy to be a Viking with me having Jefferson. I feel good enough about my running back room where if these guys hit, it's good. My wide receiver top end depth is good too, so I can go a little bit thinner there. Obviously, my tight end depth is solid, so just felt like I could afford the 4th quarterback. And all 4 of these guys have upside, but their floors are also low. So kind of works nicely as a 4 quarterback room. You know, Levis's upside is he just improves. The new weapons there. His downside is he sucks. Daniels is he runs a lot. Downside is he gets hurt. Slash, he's like kind of like Justin Fields it with the sacks. Fields, it's does he play or not? And McCarthy, it's does he get that draft capital and become a starter? Go Marshawn Lloyd. Going for the cheaper rookie. So he went with the boring vet and Ford. There's excitement there, but and instead we got Lloyd. Versus going like Wright and Lloyd or something like that. This team. Let's take this Michael Penix guy. This team just kind of needs a third quarterback. I mean, whatever. Like Purdy and Crew can get it done. Let's go Malik Washington. Double Malik Washington. Almost 100 of you tuning in. Thanks for being here. We'll be ramping up our draft schedule as we wait for Best Ball Mania 5. 5 million? Who knows? Let's go Roman Wilson. We'll add to this running back room. Maybe going 6 running backs, with this only really having 2 guys we can count on. Wide receiver room is rounding out enough. Wilson's in the mix for like a 2nd round pick, maybe 3rd. Just going to add a bunch of random players in the queue. Because we have Rodgers, I'm going to put a band of Canada at the top. I don't really care if I get sniped on any of these guys. Richardson and Lawrence, like you could add a 3rd quarterback. You don't need to, per se. You want to build out the wide receiver room here. Let's go Treylon. We got Will Levis. Presumed slot starter. If they draft someone like Rome Odunze, obviously that's like, see you later. See you later, Burks. I'm again going to go Douglas. This team could use those, like you got some inconsistent guys with Gabe, Williams, maybe Worthy. So you could use those boring 4 catches or 6 catches, 50 yards. That's 8 points, This team needs that. I definitely don't love the feel of the running back start. Good to mix it up. Our last pick over here. Abanikanda did go. So we're going to luxury pick Davis Allen. Like at the moment, he seems like the default tight end there. Adds the division stack, too. So this team is a Purdy, Rodgers, Michael Penix team. Cook, Ramondre, Brooks, McLaughlin, Dowdle, Davis. You could have said I should, like, this team needed a running back maybe with having Brooks, but if Cook, Ramondre, and then I get enough out of these three, you can hold it down. Lamb, Diggs, Ayuk. Come back to that. Two more picks. Go DeMarcus there. And definitely going running back. Go Malachi Corley. I think a second round buzz on him. Finish out this team. Lamb, Diggs, Ayuk, Mike Williams, McConkey, Douglas, Zay Jones, Blake Washington, McBride, Kittle, and Davis Allen, which, maybe should have been a running back with us having Brooks, but can definitely get by. A little thin at quarterback, a little thin at running back, solid at wideout, solid at tight end. This team so far is Daniels, Levis, Justin Fields, McCarthy, Pollard, Swift, Mostert, Brooks, Charbonnet, Jefferson, London, Metcalf, Flowers, Palmer, Malik Washington, Traylon Burks, Demarcus Robinson, Kelsey, and Kittle. And we're going to add a sixth running back. Love the multi-drafts. Yeah, I think 3 is a good casual vibe, When I do more than that, it can get a little hectic for people, I think. Not to mention me. I could probably do 5 casually too, but we did 3 today. Just flat out a necessity for me too if I'm going to get any drafts in. And good to show the people different ways to build. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you're watching this, which was your favorite draft I did today. I just would love for Underdog to add the ability to make people go on auto draft. It's like everyone leaves, they auto these picks. I'm going to go Abanikanda, righting the wrong of that snipe for this one. And that finishes off of this one and brings us to our last draft here. Need some running backs, so Audric Estime, welcome to the team. Better luck next time, Crooked. This team is Richardson and Lawrence, Bijan, Saquon, Ford, Marshawn Lloyd, Audric Estime, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Big Mike, Xavier Worthy, Gabe Davis, Roman Wilson, Demario Douglas, Malachi Corley, Kittle, and Ingram. Gonna just build out the running back and wideout depth. Most likely. We got 3 more rounds. Please stop autoing these picks. It's just brutal. Let's go Traylon Burks. We have their division with Richardson and Lawrence, so might as well stack it up. And then I'll add one more running back and one more wideout. Cricket, you'll just need to rewind to hear why I drafted Fields. It's not too hard, though. Just rewind until you see his name on the draft board. Makes it easy. Think I got unplugged there. Think I'm back though. This last one's really dragging. Speaking of dragon, I saw that movie Damsel on Netflix. That's a skip. It was fine, but it was just not good. There's a dragon in it though. And that is the movie review portion of the program. Yeah. Cricket asked about Fields. I told him to rewind. I don't know if that got caught, but Just to touch on one part, I don't think it's clear that he's a direct backup. Let's go with Dylan Lobby, UNH grad. I grew up in New Hampshire. Boom. Liam, I catch you're a Star Wars fan, prequel or OG. Yeah, I actually I got the Star Wars Battlefront games from my PlayStation. Been playing those a little bit. I like them all. Even the bad ones I like. I can see Dylan landing with the Jags, so we could have an accidental stack there. You know, Dylan in that clear pass catching role, ETN as the starter there. Yeah, I mean, the depth chart is Tank Bigsby and Dearness Johnson. Guess we'll add this dude. Don't really feel like it's a great pick, but it's kind of like a Dortch pick where like you might need an injury to happen and it could work out. So Trey had unknowns. With Fields, we know what he is at this point. Yeah, I mean, with Fields, we know he's a bona fide fantasy star if he's playing. Trey, we didn't quite know he was going to be what he is in fantasy. So I think the known with Field I will take. It's just whether he plays or not. I'd rather, if there's two unknown guys with talent in Lance and Fields, I'd like to take the one who I know is good in fantasy football versus the one I don't. Yeah, we end this one with Parker Washington. You know, they signed Gabe. Zay Jones, a little bit of a question. Might need an injury to hit the field, but might not. So that will finish off the stream for today. As always, please subscribe if you made it this far. Like the video, make a comment for the algorithm. It all helps. Have a great day. I'll see you next stream.